Hi, I'm Mila Johansen, and I'm a writing, publishing, and public speaking coach. And I love to make the entire process, wherever you are in it, easy, fun, accessible, with tons of information and strategies and resources. So I have been helping many, many people write their books and get them published. And in the last 6 weeks, I've helped 8 people publish their books. And I'll show you a few just so you can see what they're looking like. 6 by 9 is industry standard. So most people are putting their books into 6 by 9 unless it's a cookbook or a workbook. And so this is one we just put out this week, Ginger the Cat. And it's a beautiful book. And, on covers, we're wrapping around the whole picture in color, so the fur is still going around to the back. That's a really nice thing that covers are doing right now. And then we also have put out a cookbook recently, so it's an 8 by 10 because, we had to put in color pictures and all sorts of information, and it just looks better as an 8 by 10. It's put in out by the Garden Goddesses. It's an anthology, which we're going to talk about later. Anthologies are a great way to get published and not do all the work. I'm surrounded by a book cave here because I'm working on all these books, and we published this book, Life Coaching for Kids. It just came out 2 weeks ago, and it's a fantastic book. Instead of sending kids to psychiatry or therapy, most kids just need a life coach to help them get through things they're doing. So that's to show you a few books. Now, this is my book, which is a gift that you will be getting by taking this class. And it covers many, many, many of the aspects of publishing, a little bit about writing, and then go into the advertising. And it's just jam-packed full of tips and things that are very, very useful to you. Now, this is a very interesting book because I know I'm always talking to a lot of people who are business people and want to write their book as their flag. Well, this is my flag. Before I published this book, I gave it away at summits and podcasts, and I garnered 5,000 emails from just giving this book away. It's 70 pages. I always talk about the short book. The shortest book you can put on Amazon with a spine is 36 pages, but this one is 70 pages. So you can see it's got a spine. And not until 73 pages can you put your name on the spine in your title. And so this one doesn't have it because it's 70. I should have put in 3 more pages, right? But anyway, so I built my email list up to 5,000 before I printed it. And then I printed it, and now I'm selling it. I give it away when I work with a client. I send it to their house. It's my flag. It's what shows me as the authority, as the expert. And so I work in all genres. It doesn't matter because it's the same process, whether you're doing a novel, a memoir, a business book, one to give away like that, or a cookbook or anything. It's still the same process. And I have a team that works with me. And I have a book designer who makes all the book interiors good with the right measurements. Now, it's pretty important to get the right measurements. And I have an editor who's 100% wonderful and professional and very affordable. All the people who work with me are very affordable, and I'm very affordable. So I want to encourage you right off the bat not to hire people for $5,000, $10,000 unless they're really going to deliver, because I've had to help several people get their books back from publishers that they went with. These are 2 books that I helped get back for a man who had gone with another publisher, and it had petered out. The publisher wasn't giving him his royalties, and the books weren't selling. So I said, well, let's get your book self-published on Amazon and get control of them, because usually when you go with another publisher, you still own the material. You own the covers. I actually had my cover maker make him a new cover. So because he couldn't get the cover back from that company, he got the cover back from this company. So, that's really a great thing to do, is to get your own books back and get control of them. So I've helped 6 people do that. I even did it for my own book. This is my book that was traditionally published years ago, 30 years ago, and used in universities to help teachers put a little bit of theater in the classroom. And my publisher petered out, didn't even have it on Amazon. And so I had my book designer redo my book. I got control of it and I put it on Amazon under my own publishing name, which is my name, Mila Johansen. I suggest most people just use your own name for publishing. Mila Johansen Publishing is what I do mine under. I also have a subsidiary called Emerald Horse Publishing, and the name of my company is From Pen to Publish. So I will say published by Mila Johansen in collaboration with Emerald Horse Publishing and From Pen to Published. But it's a little hard to use another name. It's okay, but it's better if you get your name out there because most of you are new authors, and even if you have a few published books, people still don't know your name, so you want to use your name to get it out. But anyway, that's sort of an intro of me and what I do and a lot of the books I'm working on right now and have just published. I'm going to share my screen and go to a PowerPoint that will go through many, many things and demonstrate to you. Feel free to take pictures of any slide. And then, of course, you will have the replay. So you can go through this as many times as you want, and you can fast forward to the section you need. I will cover a lot. I'm often accused of being a fire hose, but that's how I like to learn. I have several mentors who do it to me. And in the end, you can watch the replay and go over things again. So that's what you can do. I'm going to go into my PowerPoint. And I'm going to go to my slideshow. And so the main thing is to go ahead and take the pictures that you want of any slides so that you will be able to remember this later. I just do it with my phone when I'm taking a class. And so then also you can use, I'm going to talk a lot about the short book, but this is for any book that you've already written that you want to write. And then what I'm having people do is write their short book first and then use the short book as the outline for their longer book. And so I'm sort of the queen of modular books. And behind me, you can see all of my plays and musicals and books I've written, which is a pretty big body of books. And so I took my longer plays and cut them down to medium and short because I realized that other schools and theaters that were renting them from me didn't have time to do a long hour and a half, 2 hour rehearsal period. And so I created the modular concept 30 years ago when I wrote the plays. And now I'm doing it with books, but we're doing it backwards. So we're writing the 36-page book and then making it the longer book, over 73 pages so we can have our name on the spine. And then maybe the comfortable 125 to 135 page book. And then the 250 page book. And so you're getting 4 books out of 1 book. And there's a secret. The more books you have on Amazon, the more it builds your algorithms. And so you want as many books as you can put on there. And so one of the secrets to writing a book is to just do it. I have had so many articles written about me. And in the end, over the last 30 years, they have always titled them, Just Start or Just Do It, after they talk to me. And I even have an article I forgot to put on my PowerPoint that I would love everybody to see showing this happening. And every single time they write an article, that ends up being what it's titled. So anyway, the mantra on the street right now is keep your butt in the street and write for 20 minutes a day, right? We could all write for 20 minutes a day. And I even say 5 minutes a day will add up to a book. Toni Morrison, the famous author, said that for her first book, she only had 15 minutes a day to write between her work and children. And so the rest is history. She wrote many more novels. And so believe me when I tell you, if you can at least write for 5 minutes a day, you'll finish your book. And most people come back to me and say, you tricked me. I can't just write for 5 minutes a day. I end up writing for 20 minutes or an hour. Now, here's the other secret that Barbara Kingsolver, the other famous, wonderful author, says. To begin, give yourself permission to write a bad book and then revise it until it's not a bad book. So what she means is blather it down and fix it later. So get started today. The important thing is to start. And you want to ask, what will it cost? Well, guess what? It's completely free to self-publish on Amazon. Completely free. You don't pay any upfront costs. You get to go on there, join KDP, and there's 3 pages you fill in when your book is ready. It has to be a PDF. And you fill in those 3 pages and poof, you're an author. The great thing is they give us all these attributes. They give us samples. And so you would never, take my advice, never publish a book until you've gotten the sample. And samples can take a while. Sometimes they take a few days to get. Sometimes they take a week, sometimes a couple weeks. So you want to give yourself plenty of time to get those samples before you publish your book. It's really important because otherwise you'll publish your book and you'll go, oh my God, the margins are wrong, or the paragraphs are askew, or the chapters aren't on the right pages. There's all sorts of things that can happen. And a sample is a great way to edit. Then you take your pen. It's not a holy book. You mark it up and you fix it, or you have your book designer fix it for you. Now you ask, how hard is it to do? Well, each step, which I'm going to go through a lot today, is easy. So you just want to do it at your own pace, one thing at a time. Don't feel pressured to do it all at once, even though I'm giving you most of the steps today. Of course, this will be scratching the surface. There's actually a lot more too. But don't be afraid to push buttons and try everything. You really can't hurt anything. And even before your book is finished, I'm having many people load it onto Amazon, KDP, and get a sample. So they're halfway done and they can kind of see what their book is looking like and see what they want to do and not do. Now, a Harvard study came out that said if we learn something new for our brain that hurts our brain and seems difficult, it helps prevent Alzheimer's. So the one they said to do is brushing your teeth. That was another one. Brush your teeth with your left hand. Use your opposite hand, and that also prevents Alzheimer's. So I have all my students on the first day, one of their homework assignments is to go and start brushing their teeth with their opposite hand, whichever that one is. Mine's my left. And the first 3 days I did that, I got toothpaste all over my mouth and I made a huge mess. But after 3 days, I wanted to go out and try new things and I felt braver. Just little things like maybe driving a different route to the store or calling someone that I felt a little intimidated by. So there's 2 ways of doing that, and that is computer skills hurts our brain, learning a language, learning an instrument, and then also doing the brushing the teeth and using your left hand. Try writing with your left hand. That is difficult. So join KDP today. Don't wait. When I first went from being traditionally published and publishing some of my own books in different arenas, I had a mentor who said, join KDP today, even if you're not going to publish for a year or 2. And that is because it has so many attributes you can use ahead of time. It has templates that you can just type your book right into or dump your book into. And it has tutorials that you should start today so you know and understand all the things that you want to do. KDP stands for Kindle Direct Publishing. But don't be fooled. It's not just for ebooks and Kindle books. It's for your paperback, hardcover, ebook, and audiobook as well. And it's Amazon's publishing arm. Now, here's the difference. Your password for KDP is the same as your password for Amazon buying account. The same. And so if you have an Amazon buying account, that would be great because then you look up KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, and join them. Now, to join, you will need to give them a debit card so they will know where to put your money later. You can't join without it. You can't join without your tax information. So just go ahead and finish that up. Usually when I start with a person, they say they're in KDP, but they haven't finished that part. So finish that part too. Oops, wrong way. So anyway, there are no rules to writing. I want you to know that. The main rule is to start and to write a little bit every day. And we don't have to be perfect. We have editors. So remember Barbara Kingsolver's advice is to blather it down. I met a writer at Comic-Con and I took a class with him for 8 years. My daughter made me go to Comic-Con with her for years and years in San Diego, the big one. And I found these writing workshops in these side hotels and how to make movies. And I took how to make movies with a guy for 10 years. And I make little tiny films, and I write those and teach that too. Anyway, he sits and writes from 8 to 12 every day, just like Isaac Asimov did. He didn't say it was after Isaac Asimov, but I knew that it was. And what he does is he has a rule. Now, this is my rule too. He can only write new material. That's all. And he's not allowed to edit or research, which I will hide behind editing and research and not do the writing all the time because that's kind of fun, like a puzzle. And so for the 4 hours, then he can do all of the research and editing he wants for the rest of the day when he has time. And so if you're only writing 20 minutes a day, do that same rule. Only write new material. And then at night when you're tired or something, then go do the busy work, which is more, kind of fun and gets you done. I heard, actually it was on NPR, another writer who would go to a city and sit there until the book came to that person. And I think it was a man, and he said he would sit there for 8, 9 months, watch all the people. He did Brooklyn first, and watch all the people on the street and what they did, and then maybe make a character out of the butcher or the florist. And then after 9 months, the plot would start coming to him. And then he would write the book, which is something I want to do someday. And then he did it in Italy. He went to Italy to do his next book. So that's what he does. And so he's really studying character and putting it all together. I love that idea. So here's a class I often teach for someone who hires me to teach for his group. And it's using already written material. Some of you already have books all over your computer, in your office, in your school, all ready to go that should be a book. We got blogs. I had one student who had 500 blogs, beautifully written. And I said to her, you should make those into a book. So we started making them we thought maybe 5 books. Turns out she has like 20 books. So we're going to have the same cover, but all in different colors. So that's another way to think about your covers if you're doing a series. Some people do that. They have the same cover, but in a different color with the title. And so we're turning her blogs into a series of books, which, by the way, series sell. And then transcripts from Zoom and podcasts. If you're on a podcast with someone or a summit, you can often ask them for the written transcript. And sometimes in Zoom, they come out completely messy and a huge mess, but it's gold because it's your real words. And then what you can do is edit it and use that in your book or parts for your book. College papers. I had a client come to me who had a college paper written on altars. A very interesting article, very colorful, and it was her master's thesis. And so I had her join KDP, make a template, a 6x9 template. We copied the thesis and dumped it right into the template. Boom, 5-10 minutes, she had a book. She would have to go in and re-edit it and organize it, but she had an instant book, and you can do that too. Diaries. Yours, your family, historical from an ancestor, your grandmother. And a great way to get published immediately is to be in someone's anthology because they do all the work for you. I'm getting ready to do the next edition of the Cinderella monologues and looking for people who want to be in that. No work for you except for writing it, maybe speaking it into Zoom, and then you are instantly published. I am in as many anthologies as I can get in. So these are tricks to learn about what you want to write, how you want to do your covers, how you want your interior to look, everything. I give it the assignment anytime I work with anybody is go to your own bookshelf and open 10 books. Look at the copyright page, look at the title page, look at where are the page numbers, look at the margins, make sure that the inside gutter has enough margin. This is really, really important. I see a lot of books that don't, and then we kind of have to tear the book open to read it. So you want to open books on your own bookshelf, but then also go to Amazon and look up your genre. Like a lot of people are writing books about clutter, believe it or not. And you could go in and look up clutter, and then you could look at cover ideas. And you can just go and click on that cover and right click and save the graphic to your computer so you could show someone who is making your cover or maybe copy it yourself what you want your cover to look like. So I always say copy, but what I mean is tell someone who's going to make your cover, which, you know, there's the wonderful company Fiverr, Fiverr, two R's. And you can find people who make covers for $20, $80, and really good covers. You look at the covers they've made already, and then you send them the pictures of these covers and say, I want one like this, but for me, mine. So, you know, but it gives them the idea of where you're headed. Do you want a sunset on the picture? Do you want just a background and your title? Who knows? What is dynamic and what will sell the book? Because a book cover is a business decision. I often will buy a book by how it looks. I think a lot of people do. Then you want to look up titles and subtitles. If your title is a explainer, it tells what the book is about, your subtitle can be a little more creative. If your title is creative, you will need an explainer subtitle. And then you want to look at page counts. How long do you want your book to be? Can you write the short book first and use it for the outline for the longer book? Or do you want, a lot of people are writing books that are like the comfortable 120, 135 pages right now for all kinds of things. I think novels are longer, 200, 300 pages at this point. And so you want to look at page counts and see what other people are doing. When you go onto Amazon and look up their book, there's a sample on the top left, and you can see inside their book and how they handled everything. And that's the greatest way to research. It's the best. Look at their format, look and see what you like and what you don't like. Now, you can stack your book too. If you want to make your book longer, let's say my book is 70 pages, but I want to get to 73 so I can put the name on the spine. And actually, I wanted 5 more pages in that book. So what I did was I put in useful resources and lists. I put in where to go to book conventions, and I put in even key term shortcuts to get around to people's, you know, on your computer keyboard. And then I just all kinds of things. I double spaced between paragraphs. I did 1.5 between sentences. I put in quotes on empty pages. There's just a lot of things you can do to lengthen your book if you don't want to write more and you want to get it longer. But if you do put things in the back to lengthen your book, please make them valuable. Don't just put them in to do a longer book. Put them in to add value to your book, to increase your reputation. Now, here's my publishing formula. You better take a picture of this. I'm going to go through my true intricate publishing formula a little later and explain more things to you. But first of all, do your paperback and wait for the hardcover. Paperback #1, because that is where you're going to make a lot of your money back to pay for all the setup you did and the people you hired to do your covers. So you want to do your paperback first, because my main reason, besides earning that little bit of cash at that point, is to get it into people's hands. I want my book in people's hands and on the shelf. So I do the paperback first. Now you're going to hear from a lot of people to do the ebook first so you can become a bestseller. But guess what? You can become a bestseller anytime with the ebook later. But you want to bring in those funds first and get the book into people's hands. And if you do my formula, your paperback will become a bestseller in the top 100. It's hard to get a paperback into the top 100, and it's even harder to make it number one. But I've done it with many people, and I have a slow burn publishing method I won't go into today that really ensures all of that. So then you wait 2 or 3 weeks, and then you do maybe your hardcover too. And some books you don't want to do hardcover for. But Amazon just started giving us options to do hardcover about 2 years ago. And I say, do it all because it's real estate. So you want to wait 2 or 3 weeks, and then you want to do your ebook. And then you want to, in my opinion, enroll it in KDP Select, because then you can do sales with it. They'll let you do a sale, a discount sale, and a free, which really gets people to read your book when it stalls after it's been out for a while. You can do one of those every 3 months, every quarter of the year. And then you can also make a PDF of your book. If it's a short book like mine, I made a PDF of it, and that's what I gave away to garner 5,000 emails before I published the book. But it's a really good gift to give away if you're speaking on a podcast or summit. So no matter what your book is about, and it might just be a couple chapters of your book if you have a longer book, but every podcast, every summit you speak on, they are going to want a free gift. And that's the way you garner your emails so you can send them out for your next book. Now, audiobook. If you think your book is worthy, most books are. And I have an audiobook tutorial on my YouTube, Mila Johansen. It's a very relaxed one I did for my writers group. We're a tech writers group. In fact, they just had me teach it again this year. And I just had more books put into audiobook. And I encourage everyone to do audiobook. More real estate, audiobooks are selling. And so go to my tutorial. And while you're there, please follow me on YouTube. That would help me. And then you'll start your giveaways a month after you enrolled in KDP Select. You have to be in KDP Select for 1 month before they'll let you do the 99-cent sale or the free. So I often teach a class called Write Your Short Book in a Day. And if you do this formula right here, take a picture, you will write a book in a day or two. Anybody can write a 36-page book in a day or two about something they know, work on it, and get it published in a week or two. Then you have a flag. Then you have a book you can give away. And this is more for maybe business people, but let's say you want to write a novel. A lot of people come to that class just to get it going. So the main thing is I'm not a big outliner. And I did one big outline for a book, and I finished it in the NaNoWriMo Write Your Book in a Month in November project. And so the way I do it is simple outlines, which I think will help most of you. What you do is you just make a bullet list of 10 or 20 things you want to make sure you talk about. If it's the right book, the titles will come to you while you're doing it. Try not to do that, though, but if they just come out, that's okay. When I wrote my dog book, I don't know why dogs are funny, so the titles came out funny right from the beginning. And Sneaky Dog. I can't remember the names right now. But anyway, so if you start with just that list, you will have an instant outline. It will be a lot easier. The man I told you who wrote 8 to 12 every day, he wrote a book a month by doing that. And he wrote big novels about space and science fiction and war and battles and, all that kind of stuff. And he said what he had was I think it was 3 giant whiteboards behind him. And he would make his whole outline, his whole plot, and then change it when he needed to, with a dry eraser. So he was a big outliner. So I've never quite been an outliner, but doing this simple way will really help you. So this is what you can do. Just kind of take a picture of this, and the next Write Your Short Book a Day will be coming up soon. So go to my website, milajohansen.com, to find out when the next one is. I hardly charge anything for it, just enough to make sure you show up. Okay, pricing your books. There's the trick, right? 17.95 is a sweet spot. It's been studied for paperbacks over 200 pages. 24.95 for hardcovers. That means people will buy them and you'll sell more books. So, I mean, do you want to sell more books or do you want to sell less and make a couple more dollars per book? You get 1/3 of the royalty of any book sold. So 17.95, I get about 6.25. I'm not good at math, but something like that. So, and if you were traditionally published, you would get $1 or $2 per book, but you'd probably sell more books. But I know a woman who was traditionally published, and she had such a following that she decided to go with self-publishing. And she did quite well because she already had a series, and series sell. And so she decided to dump all her publishers and come over to self-publishing. And so she knows a lot about that with the sweet spot and selling the books. So look at other books like yours to check out pricing. If your book is 125, that comfortable page, I would stay at $12.95, $14.95. If you really want your book to sell, like the book I showed you, Life Coaching for Kids, she put it at $9.95 so that everybody could buy it. And then she wanted to really get to bestseller right away, so she put it at $5.95 in the beginning, just to really get everyone on her team to buy it. Everyone she knew, she had a big list. So that wouldn't apply to all of us. All right, you want to check out ebooks, what other people's ebooks look like. There's two kinds of ebooks. There's flowable and there's stationary. I don't have the right terms there, but you'll have to look into that. They're actually a little harder to do, in my opinion. Whoops, a little harder to do than a paperback. A paperback is a PDF, and the cover would be a PDF also. So here you are, 99 cents for short books and sales, $1.99 for medium-sized books, and $2.99 or $3.99 for longer books. You're going to see a lot of people put their books up for $8.95 an ebook, but usually those are people who already have a name, already have a list, and they can do that and get that kind of money. But for you, for me, these are the prices that they have studied where books sell. I've read a lot of studies of this kind of stuff. Now you need to know, are you going to write in first person or third person? You want to write your bios in both, but most people are going to ask for your bios in third person. When you go to Amazon, they have so many attributes. They give us a really nice, beautiful website page that we build on the back end, and you'll put your bio there. And so put your most important information in the first 2 or 3 sentences, because most people won't click more. Same thing with the description that you're going to write of your book. I usually put the same description on the Amazon webpage they give me that I put on the back of the book. But you can change those things all you want. The only thing you can't change when you publish a book on Amazon is the title and subtitle. You can change everything else as much as you want. You can go change the price almost every day. It may take a couple days to show up. They have bots and we never know. Sometimes I'll put in a new bio and it will show up in an hour, sometimes not for 2 days. We can't control that. That's up to them. But it's such a great company and they give us so many attributes. I'll just have to go with whatever they want me to do. I just try to do things way in advance. So you need to have your bios ready for podcasts as well. And you should have an elevator pitch, a 1-sentence telling what your book is about in case you meet Steven Spielberg in the elevator, which I did once at Comic-Con. And then you also need to have a short a short bio and a medium bio and a long bio, because they're going to ask for different ones. Once in a while, they'll ask for your bio in first person. So you should have them all ready. And I have them all in a place on my website, on my desktop, with all of my social media handles and my bio, because when you sign up for a podcast or a summit, they're going to want all that information. And also, if you're going to try traditional publishing, they'll be asking you for those as well. They do now. So, do you want to write in chatty or casual or professional? Most people are writing in chatty right now. People want to read friendly, happy, chatty, and it can still be very professional. But if you're writing a book about psychology or perhaps caregiving, you may want it to be in a more professional attitude. So you may try it both ways. You may try a chapter both ways and put it through some beta readers and see what they think about it. A beta reader are the first readers. You can find people to read your book and tell you what they think of it. Now, here's the most important question of this workshop. Are you a pantser or an outliner? I've always been a pantser, but lately with my outlines, I'm getting the books done quicker. So there are merits to both. I I don't suggest either one. I think you should just write. The main thing is write. Sometimes I'm not sure when I'm writing, like especially a novel, all the characters, and as I write, they come out. I've had characters show up that I couldn't get out of the book if I wanted to, and they take over and they become medium to major parts. And that's wonderful because how did I know that they were there waiting in the wings? Yay. Many writers have gone back to writing pen and paper because you get a deeper writing. In fact, if you take notes in pen and paper in classes, they've done a study, they found out that you retain the information more. That's why I have people take notes in these classes. And they're not even allowing laptops in many of the university classes because of that phenomenon. When I write with pen and paper, I actually come out with some way deeper insights, especially when I'm writing novels. All right, so as I have a trick. As soon as I come up with a title, I search to see if it's there. And that's okay if it is, because titles cannot be copyrighted. I know many of my friends' books have 20 other books with their same title, but that was the title they wanted, and that's fine. But what I do is I go in and I make a Twitter account, a Facebook account, a LinkedIn account, and I put my name in all of those so that when people look up my title, they'll think it's taken, because most people, shh, that's secret, don't know that you can't copyright titles. That's why you can put titles of songs in a book, but you absolutely cannot put one lyric in. Same thing. My colleague and friend wrote a book called Heartwood, one word. And we looked it up, and there were 25 books named Heartwood. I looked them up again, and I went, well, there's only 5 with Heartwood, 2 words. So she named her book Heartwood. So ask the internet how to do anything. I ask about 10 things a day. And I take a lot of YouTube tutorials, and I get stuck maybe how I'm supposed to format something or do something on Amazon, and I ask the internet. Also, the great thing about Amazon, KDP, once you join, you can go into community, write that down, then KDP University, and then scroll all the way to the bottom and contact us, and then click in a few subjects and you can call them. There is no number to call Amazon. They will call you back within 5 minutes on the phone that you have listed, whether it's cell or landline. I say here no color pictures, but you can do color pictures. It will make your book cost twice as much. This little book I have is only $2.50, probably $2.75 once it's shipped to me if I order more than 10. And that's because there's no color pictures. But if I put any color pictures in, even one color headline, this book would be $5. So you need to think about, does your book need pictures? This book, Ginger the Cat, had to. So her book is quite a bit. Her book, even though it's only 120 pages, is about $9.75 to her author copies, because that's one of the attributes that Amazon gives us, They give us author copies at cost, which is wonderful. And they print on demand, so you're not filling your garage with 500, 5,000 copies of books you'll never sell. And you can drop ship those books. You can send them to another beta reader. You can send them to your editor. You can send them to your grandmother. And that's a great thing. You can buy them at cost. If you don't care how long it gets there, that's the way to do it. If you care how long it takes to get there, buy them on your website, Amazon page when you're published, and you will still get 1/3 of that back from Amazon in your KDP. So anyway, that's the thing about color photos. Okay, to make covers, I find really good covers on book covers on. That's where I found the Cinderella monologue cover. And it's a great place to find them there. Then what I do is I send them to a book designer and have them tweak them because I do need that. So, ooh, what happened? I got this page again. Now, this is something just sort of funny. You know you've arrived when other people's resell your books for little prices or big prices. You'll see your book going for, $2.95, $3.95 from used bookstores and sometimes thrift stores. But what happened to me was I went on one day and this book, 101 Theater Games, a $22 book, was up there for $2,000. I wish I would have taken a picture of that. And I said to my niece, who's very tech savvy, how come my book is $2,000? She goes, Aunt Mila, they're money laundering with your book. And then I found it for $500, all sorts of prices. And finally, I took a picture of it at $89.95. I don't know if they're money laundering with this or they think it's worth it. It just cracks me up. Anyway, I had to show you that is when you know you've arrived, when your book starts going on resale. So a book cover is a business decision. I heard that from a mentor. And so you want to find covers you like and ask your designer to make one similar, but your own. It's a great way to know what you want, find what you want. Find about 3 or 4 that you like, and then you can take those and put them on Facebook and ask people which ones they like better. Here, I found the one on the right in Book Cover Zone, and I really liked it. And I said to my book designer, cover designer, could you make one sort of like it? And so she made me one on my left, and I didn't buy the one on the right. So I like them both. I mean, I think the one on the right's a little more simple and easy to read, but the one on the left is my cover now, and I love it. So that's how I did it. I said, I like this one. Can you make one like it? Then I had my dog book come out, and the woman working for me made these 3 covers for me to choose from. And I took them and I put them, this is what we do with titles, and then we do it with book covers. Even if you know the title you want or the book cover, put it on around a Facebook or other social media and ask people which one they like. I got more play on Facebook than I've ever gotten on anything else because everybody wants to participate. And then it's a great way to let people know your book's coming out, have them get buy-in, and most people will buy your book after it comes out. It's just a fabulous advertising idea. So I really liked the one on the left, except we had to polish the dog up more later. And then but most people like the one in the middle. And then one of my students at a class said, well, why don't you take the one on the left, in the middle, and put it on the one on the left with the color. And we did that because we don't like the pause above the woman's head on the left, but the pause over on the side in the middle turned out to be the book. So the book turned out to be a combination because that person had a better idea than I had or my book cover designer had. And even if you know your cover, still do it to get buy-in, but they may come up with a better idea. Now, I try to be in as many anthologies as I mentioned before, because that way I don't have to do any of the work and I get a lot of clout, and especially if I can do it with some semi-famous people. These are two anthologies I was in. You can see there was only 5 of us in this one down here on the left, and our pictures were on the cover, and that was with a pretty well-known person. So that turned out to be a great one to be in. This one over here was another great one to be in. I've been in about 10. So I don't do the super expensive ones. I mean, if they want $2,000, $5,000, I don't do them. But if it's super cheaper, or what I did with the person on the right is I traded her. I let her be in Cinderella monologues and she let me be in hers. So it didn't cost me a penny and I got tons of advertising. This is another one I was in because I helped them design the book and put it together. I was in their group, so I helped them do this whole book here. I guided them through the process. I've done many anthologies for people. And then this is our Cinderella monologues, the first edition. And often when you're in and I found this cover on Book Cover Zone. Often when you're in a summit or a podcast, they will make you beautiful ad squares. I had my VAs in the Philippines make these ad squares for each person in the book. And then everybody can advertise the book with you. And we sold a lot of books because I had, 22 people in the book. And everybody came to the lunch and they brought people, and we really had a great time. Then we did the second Cinderella monologues, and we're getting ready to do the next edition. So here's a secret to books. The more books you have, the more sales you'll have. So if you did the thing where I said, take the 36-page book and make it into 3 longer books, you'll have more books. And then if you're in anthologies, you'll have more books, because every anthology you're in or any book you have, you can put your author page and your bio and your headshot into a place called Author Central. And even if you are in an anthology and other people aren't doing that, you can still go to Author Central even without joining KDP and get your picture in the book. I did that with one of my clients. I taught her how to do that, and she's the only picture showing up, like she's the only author. So I thought that was pretty humorous, actually. Don't hand out cards. People throw them away. I hand out bookmarks. This one is 2.5 by 7 inches. I think that's it. You don't make it any smaller or they're too small. It looks big, but it's really not. And people keep them in. So I gave out 500 to 1,000 before this book was published in 2020 on August 18th, the 100th anniversary of when women in America won the right to vote. And I had my book coming out, and that's why so many people bought it when it came out. I had handed this out for a year before the book was finished. And I did the front and the back. And I love getting a bookmark because they can use it. And right now, a lot of libraries are having book fairs, and you can sign up at your local library and make these. You can make these on Vistaprint, or I made it on another company. There's all sorts of places you can make it. And then I put it into every book I give away or sell personally, because you can sell your books on Amazon, but you can also buy author copies and sell them to people that you run into. I always have 10 or 20 in my car of every book I have. And Twitter is probably the best format for writers. There's a huge active place. And I had 56 followers for 8 years. I had no idea what to do with Twitter till I found this formula on the left. Like other posts, retweet other tweets, comment, post your own post. That's every day. And then also it's a great thing for writers because you have to make your blurbs short. So what I'll do when I'm advertising is I'll create my blurb in Facebook, and then I'll copy it and put it on LinkedIn, and then for Twitter I have to make it a little shorter with the link, to the book. And then I'll put it on all my social medias, Instagram, wherever else I want to do it. And hashtags are big. Hashtags have become big again on Facebook now. So if you can put hashtags, people will find your thing. But now these hashtags down here at the bottom, take a picture, are ones that will get you into these writing communities. So when I went from 56 followers to 8,000 in 9 months, it's because I would go on there and play the game, post my book, post with them. And I said, I'm new. I need people to follow me. And everybody wants to help. So they did. And I can't believe I got to 8,000 because I had no idea what to do with it before. It's so Twitter and Facebook have been my best for books. I know a lot of people do really well on Instagram and sell books, and a lot of people do really well on TikTok. So if you can figure those out, great. These are some of my books. I have 14, but these are some of my books that I put out. And these are my own. And then I have a whole slew of books that I've done for other people, 20 or 30. And I like to take them through the whole process and teach them all of my things that I do. A great advertisement ploy is to join Shutterfly. Join it on your phone, and every week they give you an opportunity to buy something for free and just pay shipping. So I've gotten these bags, and I got these refrigerator magnets here, and then you can make these little books, and then cards, playing cards with your pictures. This is great. And so I have these to pass out when I speak. And another big thing that I found at Comic-Con before COVID hit was people were putting, if you ever going to an event, they were putting their information on a cardboard with a stick as a fan because it was really hot. And take a chance, send it out. Send it to everyone you can think of. I sent mine to Oprah, to Steven Spielberg. I don't know if they open them or see them, to Nicole Kidman. Anybody I can think of, people on NPR, all the way from top to medium to local TV stations. And so you're buying them at author cost, and they do cost about $5 to send out. But I found a new way of doing it. Drop ship them from Amazon. That's another possibility I just came up with. And look at this. Look what happened. Robert Redford wrote me back. And I have this card posted on my wall. And now my book is on his shelf. And maybe some movie maker will come to his house, pull the book off, and decide to make a movie. We don't know. But I love that this happened. So I have to show it off, of course. So your first assignment today when you go home after this class would be to make your bullet list, your outline. Let's say you already have books, but let's think about your new book, the next book you want to do. Or maybe this is your first book. So, and then you add and subtract as needed and rearrange them. And poof, you have an outline. And so start with the easiest. I always say, write the chapter you could write now in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. Just blather it down. And then do the next easiest. And pretty soon you go, oh, I'm on my way. I can do this. It's my secret way of doing it. And you can create all sorts of emails for your book once you want to start advertising. And then I change it all the time. And then free stuff, I didn't know what swag stood for even when I went to Comic-Con for 18 years. And I finally found out it stands for stuff we all get. I'm not kidding. That's true. So anyway, these are more ways to attract followers. I'm going to move on because I want to get to our other part. Facebook is fantastic for books. You can join about 50 Facebook sites. I joined them before my last book came out, my grandmother's book. Well, that wasn't my last book, but anyway, and then they let you post your book every day on there. And it's a great way to get the word out and find buyers. And so anyway, another way to get the word out is early readings, your author website. You need a website and email. Do you want to have a blog or not have a blog? Set up lectures. Do you know when I speak in person, I spoke at a women's group about a year ago, and there were 40 women at a country club, and they all bought the book. I brought 25 with me. Some had bought them before. Some people bought the ebook. Some people bought the audiobook. Some people bought the paperback. but they all bought a book. And that was a nice way to sell. So think about speaking in person at your library, um, your book clubs, local and online, and at your local women's clubs, men's clubs, political clubs. They're all looking for speakers. And so send out early though, because they actually book people way in advance. I often get it a speaking gig because I tell them, well, if someone bails, I can fill in. And that happens all the time. So I get a lot of speaking gigs by when people can't come for some reason. So email marketing is not dead. Do you know why? They have to read at least the subject. So email marketing is big, and a way to capture their emails would be MailChimp for cheap, or there's Keep. I love Keep. KEAP is one of the best. And I am in Influencersoft, and I'm also in Go High Level because I have an app. And with my app came Go High Level. So if you ever want to know about that, email me and I will let you know about Go High Level. My email is my name backwards, Johansen Mila at gmail.com. That's a whole nother subject. Anyway, here's my publishing schedule. Let's see if we have some time for that. So this is, I send this to anyone I work with, and this is pretty intricate. So you can take pictures. And first of all, load your book, join KDP, and then load your book in KDP and get the first sample. We never know the timing. You can get 5 samples at a time, and then you can order another 5. But if you want to send it to different addresses, you almost need to like order one, then wait till you get the notice, buy it, and then order the next one. And drop ship to each person who's editing. Whoops, I lost that. And then you're going to, at the same time, when you're loading your book, you're going to choose categories, which are paramount about your book getting discovered, and keywords. I always say with categories to pick 1 obscure and 2 major, or vice versa. That's how I get people to be #1, or at least in the top 100 bestseller, is usually with their obscure category. And then you take pictures of it and you put a seal on their international bestseller. There's just all kinds of fun things you can do. Oops. So you go through the sample and make edits. Just mark them up and then go through that with your book designer. If you're the book designer, then just put them in and get more samples as needed. With my grandmother's book, there's 98 rare pictures. I had to get 8 samples before I could publish that book. Most books, it's only 1 sample. Some books, it's 2. So get as many as you need and give away the samples later. I want to go back to, here we go. And then you have to think. I say put all your books on Amazon, but do you also want to put your book on Ingram Spark? Because that is where libraries and bookstores can buy your books wholesale. You need to know if you want to do that also. And I think it's still the same Bowker number. We'll go into Bowker numbers in a minute. That's where you buy your own ISBN numbers. And then, do you want to sell your book any other place than on Amazon? If not, then Amazon gives you free ISBNs. And most of my people just stick with that for now. And then otherwise, you will need to buy ISBN numbers from Bowker. 10 for 300 for now. You only need a ISBN for your paperback and your hardcover. You don't need it for your ebook. So I think I used the same ISBN for Spark last time, and I thought I had to do, anyway, I think we'll have to look into that. So, whoops, go back. Sorry, I keep trying to read it. So I would publish your paperback. Don't publish your hardcover yet, like I said. Publish your paperback 1 week before the launch to make sure it goes through, that you're not going to have problems and have to go back. Because if you're having an online launch or an in-person launch, well, an online launch, you're going to want them to be able to buy the book that day while they're excited about you talking about it. And then also your categories won't show up until a few people buy the book. So buy the book, have everyone you know buy the book. and then ask most people to buy the book on the online day. If you're going to do an in-person one, you need to order your books way in advance, usually only a week or two. But one of my colleagues just had a book signing party planned in our neighborhood, and she ordered 3 weeks before, and the books hadn't arrived. So anyway, then she made a paper where they could use a a link to go buy them. Tell everyone you know to buy the book on the decided date. Sing it from the rooftops because you published a book. Then collect emails and start advertising the social media and your connections, and keep the advertising going. It's like having a baby. It never ends. You need to keep advertising as long as you can. So I would do book launches offline too in your own neighborhood. I have one of my clients is going to speak at several clubs and libraries in his area. And that's what you should do too. Libraries actually have money right now, and they are paying people a small stipend, $200, $300, to come and speak, especially if it's a teaching book or anything similar to that. When you get to the top 100 bestseller list, take screenshots and keep it on your desktop. Ask family and friends to buy the book, but tell them to wait until it arrives at their house to leave a review on the Amazon page. Then it will be a verified review, and otherwise it won't be. So order author copies to carry around with you and sell in person and give away to dignitaries and important people in your neighborhood. Wait 3 weeks and load the ebook. Sign up and enter your book into KDP Select, and then you'll have to wait 30 days before you can do a sale. Wait another month, do the 99-cent sale. And that you need to send out to everyone you know. Say, even if you bought the paperback, please buy my 99-cent sale. And that's a no-brainer. Everyone will do that. To help me make it the bestseller, you say. And so I do it on Fussy Librarian. That's in the book you'll be getting with this class. And it's about $40. And then when you do the free, it's more like 60, 80. Okay, and then after it's on there for 3 months, you can do another sale. And then I would do the free because you get more and more readers. And I actually sell books when I do the free book because people say to themselves they want to have the real book in their hand. So anyway, hopefully with everyone's help, your book becomes a bestseller 3 times. With the paperback, the ebook at 99 cents, and hopefully number one with the free. And there's a lot more to this, but I've just given you the basics. Ooh, did I already give you that? So your publishing tasks, take a picture of this. You want to hire an expert or use Fiverr to learn it yourself. You want to have some beta readers, friends who will tell you if the book's holding together, if it's really working. You may want a developmental editor like me. Editing, hire an expert. That's one thing you can't scrimp on. Try to only pay 1 to 2 cents a word. There are a lot of people doing it for 5 to 8 cents. Please don't do them. I think that's too much money, and it will really eat into your publishing budget. Have an author website. Have an awesome book cover. For big, important books, you may want to sign up with the Library of Congress. It's about $80. It might be more now. Social media announcements, keep them going. Make a Facebook community page. That way people can talk to you and you can keep it going. You need to post about once or twice a week to keep that page going where people don't disappear. Email announcements, keep them going. And so no fear, let's go for it. Now that you have your bag of tricks, you can start them all at once or one at a time. The main thing is to start. Whether you started last year, yesterday, or today, just start. Don't forget to use one of your most valuable resources, friends, family, and social groups. Enlist their help. Maybe make a street team to help you advertise. And there is my website, so you can go see all kinds of other things I'm offering, classes and books and freebies. I have a lot of freebies. So So there are many considerations and tips and strategies and resources and tricks that you need to have to go into self-publishing and advertising your book. I am here with a VIP coaching program to help you get through it all and not miss anything. I'll hold your hand. I'll show you how to do each step blow by blow. I'll give you all of my lists. I never hold back. And we will get your book done together, get it published. So check it out at milajohansen.com for the VIP coaching program there and all sorts of other wonderful things that you can sign up for. So anyway, and if you are a woman who votes, you need to get this book. It is your story of winning the right to vote. My grandmother was on the front line. She was the first woman lobbyist. She worked with Alice Paul, Carrie Chapman Catt, and all the women there. And then she went on to teach Eleanor public speaking and thousands of other women with a book she wrote that she went all over the US. It sold like hotcakes, just what we're trying to teach business people to do now. She did it in 1946. And then in her early 90s, she took me along when she spoke with Gloria Steinem, Marlo Thomas, all the time in Hollywood as the elder suffragette. So anyway, I have really enjoyed imparting this information to you. There's a lot more information, but this will get you started. This is the basics. This will get you almost through your entire publishing process.